Welcome, bonjour, benvenuti, guten tag, konnichiwa, sveiki, good day, hola. So, as you can tell, today we're going to be talking about all things multi-language. That is about as international as I can go with my languages. We're going to talk about how to approach multi-languages in email marketing today. And to help us with that, we have Matias, who's our customer success manager. And I'm very excited for everyone to meet him if you haven't seen his previous webinar, because first of all, you're getting that customer success manager experience and understanding what it's like to have someone help you with your business on that level. And also, Matias is really good at taking these a little bit more advanced topics and making them very easy to understand and, most importantly, very applicable. So I'm sure you'll take something away today that is very valuable. Again, use this time to ask him questions, use this opportunity. And Matias, would you like to say hello?
Hello, everyone. I'm not as fluent in so many languages as my colleague Bai is, but yes, like happy to be here. And yes, as she said, I'll try to just make it as easy as possible and break it down for you to understand what are the possibilities that you have rather than anything else. I think, as in our previous webinars and the one I had specifically, creativity is your only limit here. So just don't take things that I will mention or that will be shown here as a solid thing, but just imagine what you can do with them. And hopefully, if you're not running a multilingual business exactly, you can think what else can you be doing with this information. So don't limit yourself. And yes, happy to be here with you all, and I hope you enjoy the webinar and and that you also get an idea of what us success managers do here at Omnisend. And in case you qualify for one, just give us a little message and just get in touch with us so we can help you directly too.
Awesome. And also, if you're not using a multi-language model, maybe you will have an idea that you could use it because, possibilities are endless in this international global world that we have right now. So before we begin, a couple of things to know. This session is being recorded and you will receive the recording in a couple of days. We will also include the slides. So if you miss anything, you'll be able to find it. And if you have any questions, at the bottom of your screen, there's a Q&A tab. So you can drop your questions in there. And then we will either pause to answer them with Matias, or we might wait till the end and answer those then. And also we have Ira, who's monitoring the chat. So she's going to be helping with any general Omnisend questions you might have in regards to this topic. So again, if you have any questions, Q&A tab, questions for Matias. If anything, you can always leave your comments in the chat for us to see as well. So Matias, the stage is yours.
So yes, I'll start with the agenda here. And as I was saying before, yes, even if you're not running right now a multilingual store, you may start considering after this. Yes, because I'm gonna explain a little bit why localization matters, what are the benefits and everything that it will bring whenever you're setting it up this way. What are the challenges you're gonna face if you don't do it? And what are probably you already facing? Maybe you come here to solve a problem and to find answers. So I'm hopeful that I can bring you some new insights and something that will be actually valuable for you. Also, I'm gonna explain some of the tools that we have in Omnisend, some of them quite new also, that will help you make this much simpler and much easier. Yes, and sharing some of the examples that some of our customers have done, and using just some of our very lovely customers. One that I'm working for a long time too, and they have been kind enough to let me use some of their examples so that you can see what other brands are doing and how they manage things that in their case could be a complicated issue. They know we're not doing it this way. Yeah, so they are sharing their knowledge, they are sharing their case, and it's good that you can take advantage of this too. And also, I'm gonna just do a couple honorable mentions to the AI tools that we have developed quite recently. If the webinar would have happened a couple weeks ago, the content would have been a little bit different, but AI here is here to help us now, and it has some shortcuts into what would have been a more difficult process before. So yes, just keep in mind whatever I will mention about AI. Then what will you learn? Yes, first, how to localize campaigns, flows, forms specifically too, and also how to use segmentation to then make use of that localization data. Yes. Then how to use form, tags, automations, and everything to always aware of the customer context, the region, the language, or as I say, any other kind of thing that you may think of right now that could be also used with this kind of use case. Yes, and how to use our new AI tools to save more time. Why is this relevant? Yes, and where to start? I think this is good to mention because many people may be thinking, okay, so what am I missing if I'm not doing this kind of multilingual approach in my stores? Yes. First of all, customers expect, I think expect here may be a little bit too drastic, but customers do expect to receive native language experiences. I can share from my own experience. I'm here a foreign living in Lithuania. I do not speak Lithuanian, and I'm pretty sure I'm missing out on a lot of opportunities, on a lot of products that I don't know what they are, and I'm pretty much condemned to always buy the same. So yes, just take this kind of mentality and think if you're in a foreign country and you don't understand what's being offered to you, are you gonna buy it? Are you gonna risk it? So just to give you this kind of idea and put that in your head that they may expect, and if they don't expect, they may appreciate native language experiences. Conversion rates drop with poor localization. This is 100% true. If we're sending the wrong message or the right message, but to the wrong audience, we may just not see the results that we want, and we may think that our data is messed up. But it's just because we didn't take the previous steps to actually send it. It was the right message, it was the perfect time, but maybe it was not the right people. So just to consider this. And also, brand trust depends on clear and local communication. Uh, the customers would expect for you to be engaged and also to be immersed in their own environment. If you are a foreign brand for them, if you are from abroad, maybe they want to see that you're also involved in what they expect to see from you, that you also know about their season. When are they gonna buy? When are they expecting to receive messages from you? When are they willing to spend? Because the more you know about them, the more they can know about you too. Yes. So let's go to the two paths for multi-language e-commerce. Yes, we have the multi-store model. If somebody in the comments can just mention, to which of these two categories you may belong in case you're already having a multi-language e-commerce store. If you're a multi-store model, meaning that you have several stores with different languages and you're managing them all separately, means you have more control, everything is separate, there's no so much visual mess, no so much chaos for you to control, but you'll always have to be jumping from store to store to see the reporting and to understand how each store is performing. So you're still dealing with them as a separate thing. Yes. And the second approach, that is, you have a single store, but you have a lot of languages. You have done the segmentation, you have done the localization, or you're trying to do it and you're looking for more tips on it. Yes. And that's what we're going to focus the most today. And if you have this case, I think you're going to get the most value. But those who are running a multi-store model, still engage, because it's going to be a lot of information that you still can use. Not only for these cases I said before, but for many other use cases. Yes. What are the benefits of the one store in many languages? You have all the report in there, everything is together. You can just separate and see what is performing according to the segment, region, country, property, as you wish. But of course, it will require a little bit more organization from your end, and that's what I'm going to try to help with in the next slides. What goes wrong without a plan, I think, is also something that you may need to, or that you may relate with more than anything else. Maybe something that has happened to you in the past, and you don't want to see it repeated. Yes. You're showing the same pop-up in all regions. Maybe it's not what customers are expecting to see, or maybe or just there's the possibility to do more. Yes, there's no actually way of saying from my end that you're doing things wrong, but just that you could do them better. Yes, that's it. So then that automations that send the wrong message, if we don't take the enough care, especially with segmentation, and to understand which customer is coming from where and why and when, when am I going to send in the automation? Who am I going to send it to? All of this has to do with segmentation, and localization should be the step one in most of our segments. Yeah. So we care about them purchasing, we care about the customer opening our messages, we care about all of that data. But first of all, we should know where they come from so we know how to approach them. And also, this related to the AI tools that we have, you're translating manually everything and you're taking a lot of time and you're having to jump from tab to tab and trying to see if things actually match, copy, paste, a lot of wasted time in small processes. So we're trying to make things a little bit easier with some AI tools that we have incorporated into our email builder. Yes. And just another last one, you're sending again the email that was meant for Germany to Australia. Yeah, so that may have happened to you, that may happen to you still. So we don't want this happening because, well, what is an Australian person gonna do if they receive this message? Yes, they may not be even opening your emails anymore. So yes, we're trying to avoid problems, avoid mistakes, and just try to show you the path from the beginning to be doing things right from the start, so that then you don't later have to worry about fixing them. But also, if you have not applied this from the beginning, we're also going to show you how to fix it and how to amend this once everything is already on the run. How is Omnisend going to help you? Yes, so we have the Shopify Markets integration that's already fully in there, the country, domain, and language-based segmentation, amongst many other kind of segmentation options that you have, but these ones are the ones that we're going to focus on today. Form targeting, we have automation, splits, and everything that we can just separate inside of one single automation, or else we're going to see the options later on. The translation tool with AI, the segmentation tool with AI, blog visibility based on contact information, SMS quiet hours by region, and so many other features that we're going to mention. Yes. And now we start, I think, with the how to, yes, what you came for today. And I'm gonna start with forms. I think I want you to think of this presentation in a sequential way. So ideally, you would have to do it in this order too. Yes, we would start with forms. Is the first step where we are gathering our leads, where we are gathering our contacts. So is where we should focus the first effort into localizing correctly. Yes. We have several options. I'm gonna go through some of them. And usually when you are managing, let's say, as I said, today focus was gonna be a single store with multiple languages, with multiple regions and multiple people from different parts of the world coming into your same store. We ideally want to have one form per language. Yes, in the case of the Shopify Markets integration, I'm going to show you here an example of the brand that we're working with, for instance, and that you can see how it is applied, how it works, how simple it is also. It's not a complicated thing, so that you can already start applying it. Yes, and then, of course, the tagging system, not necessary to tag. We could also just go directly to the automation and select that this is the form that should start this automation. But of course, if we want to always also have a further control on our list and understand further on where they come from, we want to tag, we want to have that extra information and to keep it always as an extra contact point that we can use for further segmentation. These are some examples. Well, the picture may not tell you anything, but you're going to see what's the point of it right now. You want to create, as I said, different forms. This is an example of how the customer that I'm showing as an example has it. It's, let's say, for France, for the English version, that is usually the fallback, also Swedish, Spain, and so much more, yes? And it might flood you in some cases with a lot of visual information, yes, but most of it is exactly the same, just a different language. There's no difference. We're tagging things. We have a lot of different things there. And one form per language will help you to have that cleaner logic to only the customer that is supposed to see that form sees it. And using our localization techniques that I'm going to show you further is the best way to approach it. And why am I showing this picture? Because if we're going to start doing this from day one, if we're going to start with this today, or if you're just starting to think of it, we need to also think of a good structure with the names, because we're going to have a lot of visual information, a lot of maybe duplicated, not only forms, but maybe automations too, if that's your approach, and campaigns too, if you're going to send them separately. So ideally, you have to think from the beginning, how you're going to code, how are you going to start naming your all of your work, so that you can later on also analyze it in a way that makes sense to you and doesn't, exhaust you in a way, because it might be overwhelming when you see so many things and you don't understand what are they for. So just a tip in advance, because in many cases I've seen this happening, that this is corrected later along the way and it's not really a helpful thing. Yes. And here already to the example, we're gonna use this from the brand that is working with us. You can see the example of the URL to the left side. When we are switching in Shopify markets to different language versions of the store, a little piece of the URL will change to the identifier of the certain region. Yes, in this case, it's France, FR. And we can use that to target, as you are seeing in the GIF to the right side, to target and tag all the contacts there. So it means anybody who is inside of this specific URL will only receive the French version. And whenever they register, they will already be tagged as a French contact, which means that we can either use it already automatically in the automation, or further along the way, we can use it for segments, and we know how many customers we have in France, how many customers we have in Spain, or not necessarily that, but how many customers speak French. Yes, still tells you something, and you can make use of that information to send them communications in their own language and to help them understand your product in a better way. So I hope that is clear. If you have any questions, because I know that this might be, of course, I'm leaving here for a couple more seconds so you can see the full thing. But if you have any questions, just write it here. I'm sure Ira will share some more information on it. But it's as simple as this. Yes, we are showing it only on the pages that have this identifier for the region in the URL, and we are tagging them accordingly so we can use them further along the way.
I also wanted to just jump in, giving people time to either add their questions here as well. You're not only collecting data on the language preferences, but it also gives you a good indication, for example, if it's, you know, French can be a little bit tricky because you have Canada as well. But for example, if you have German people or like German domain and people choosing German language, you can adapt it to their national holidays as well. And that's going to be super targeted campaigns that you can later on use for your own benefit. So it's not just the language you're collecting, but again, you're collecting that cultural base as well.
Exactly, and you're gonna see even more options further along the presentation. There are so many other things, but as Bai said right now, and as I told you at the beginning, your creativity is the limit. If you see you can do something by capturing more information, is in the modern day right now, nowadays, and specifically in this time, data is the best thing that we can have. And the more data you gather from your customers, the best way you can approach them, the best way you can engage with them, and the best response you can expect from them too. Yes. And thank you for that, Bai. And localizing then your forms. Here is another option for those who may not be using the Shopify markets or have a different setup, a different store, different in general, that just come from a different source in general. What else can we do? This one will cover so many other use cases, so it's good if you learn it and see what is possible to be done here. So in this case, we're using custom properties. Uh, you can already use by default the property that we have that is country, but as I said, country may tell you something, as language also will tell you a different thing, yes? So a custom property that, for the example I've had created, is called preferred language. You can ask your customers in the form, what is the preferred language they want to receive their communications in, and give them the options that of course you assume or you think or you know already that your store is most likely to be appearing in. So then you give them these options. They are able to select from the beginning what are their expectations from your end, and then of course you're able to do a lot of things with that information. You cannot limit yourself only to this. You can add any other custom property you think of. You can say how many emails do you want to receive, many other things that you can add here because it's a custom property, you have control on it, and it's going to be forever tied to that contact. Then yes, as simple as this, you can choose it to be a drop down, you can choose it to be a checkbox as we see here, and you can make it a required field, you can just leave it as an open field. However you like, there's a lot of customization here in the form, but just to give you the inspiration mostly, yes, to that the tool is there, you can make many things out of it. And it will perform almost in the exact same way, of course, as the previous one. It's just that for this case, in this hypothetical situation, you'll be showing them a single language form, but then later you're going to be able to give them a unique language campaign, automation, and so on, any follow-up. And then we're moving to the next step. So we have covered the forms partially. We're going to come back later on with some more things, but the most important things have been covered. And now we're going to move to the next step. So now we have passed the contact from the registration space, and we're moving them through the segmentation. What are we going to do with them? Posterior to have captured them, yes? First thing, Here, as you saw in the form, they already can receive a tag. They can already belong to a segment immediately also, too, if you have that tag associated with any segment. So that could already be automated from the form initially. So there's no really any need to do more work. You saw before how it's done. It's a pretty simple procedure. You can use the details of the billing and the shipping if you want to be more creative, you want to go deeper into this. Where are they buying from? Where are the items being shipped to? You can use this information, especially in automations, just to use the event information to do something else. Yes, this is more advanced. I think you'll have to think exactly what's the use case for this, but still is information that you can pull and you can use further along the way. A store path. Has to do again with what we said before. If they belong to the French store, we're going to send them French information, French form. And from the beginning, they are only going to see things in French, even though you, as the owner of the business, may not even know a word in French. Yes. But you're doing this for the customers, not for yourself. So that's the way we're going to think about it. Yeah. Then language preferences and tags and combined behavior. Geography, smarter targeting, as Bai said before, geography will give you much more ideas than just language, any kind of a specific native or a local holiday, or in general, you can act even as a stock investor and see how things are going with the market and be like, okay, I'm gonna put my efforts in this region right now because things may go well right now. So there's data. You can choose what to do with it from whatever your background and your understanding of the data is. Then Yes, here is how the segment will look like. Coming back to the form that we prepared before, yes. So we have the French contact, the tag that we assigned automatically in the audience settings inside of our form. We can just have a segment already preset for that form, and every single contact that fills that form will come inside of the segment. And that's it. There's nothing really much more to explain. This is how it looks like. Of course, we want them to be subscribed. We can also use non-subscribe for automations. This doesn't have, as I told you, it's not a tight rule. You can expand it with a little creativity, but the tag is there. So you choose what to do with them. Another one here is just relating to the other form that I showed that was with the custom properties. It works exactly the same way. So your custom property, once it's added and saved, will be also accessible through the segment directly. And you can choose preferred language is Spanish or any other option that you have let down over there. Of course, don't add options that you didn't offer inside of the form. It's not going to work. But yes, if you have added all the ones you need, it's gonna work exactly the same way as the previous example, and just pull any other contact that has filled that information accordingly. And then yes, with country is exactly the same. That one is not a custom property, but a default property. So you can just leave it as it is. And yes, now what happens if you already didn't do any of the steps before and you're going to start from this step forward? Yes, so AI is coming here for the rescue. Otherwise, before AI, we still would have been able to solve it. It's not that we're limited to this, but it's going to make your life a little bit easier. Yes. When are we going to use this kind of segment that I'm going to show? Is only an example, but when are we going to use it? When we are migrating contacts and we have no consistent information about them, when we are importing contacts from multiple sources live, maybe some of them are coming from some ads, maybe some of them are coming from some external form, any source, and they still don't have a consistent information on where the locality might be, where the language might be. So you don't know this information and you want to work on it, yes? Not using Omnisend forms, using Shopify markets or multiple domains, incomplete or inconsistent location data in general, as I mentioned, or you're just getting started. Yes, so you just thought about it right now and think like, okay, so I haven't done what you said. Can I still solve it? Yes, you can still solve it. It's just going to be a little bit more complicated, but for everything, there's a solution. Yes. And now we have our new AI segment builder. This is a proved prompt, just as an example. You can just take it as a template in a way of what many customers might be using. Yes, so you can ask our AI in the AI segment builder to create a segment of contacts likely located in this region or using or logic across all available data. Yes, their phone number you may have from some source. Maybe you're just gathering the phone number, but doesn't have any other information. So if it has certain numbers, like in the example for Germany plus 49, we're gonna assume they are German contacts. We're gonna assume they speak German, and we are gonna think that they might want to receive our messages in German, yes? Email addresses contain some of the identifiers for the region. Country is the country, of course, Germany. Last detected country or city. This one is one we have to take special attention to. We're going to come back to it later, but last detected country and city. This is based on the IP. So not a fully reliable one, but in case you still want to include some contacts, it could be part of your rules. Build page, and it contains some specific path or subdomain that you know is only exclusive for a single language or location. A store URL contains a localized domain, or even place an order. As I said before, you can use billing details, order details, and just try to get parts of the billing in general to understand where they might be located. Yes. And and yes, that's it from the prompt. I hope you can take a deeper look into it. I know that you can be as creative as you want with this. Experiment with our AI and provide feedback, please, too, because we really want to make it the best for you. And this is already something I tested myself, so you can just feel free to copy this prompt. But if you have something else in mind, just try it out, see if it works, and yes, feel free to experiment with it as much as you'd like.
I'd just
How
like
to do
to,
it? Yes.
before we go on, I would like to just remind everyone you will receive the slides. So you'll be able just to literally copy paste this into our AI segment builder. And then if you have any troubles, issues with that, you can also contact the customer support to help you out. So again, you'll receive all of this, try it out. And if anything, we're there to help.
Thank you, Vi. Definitely, yes. Always feel confident to contact our support. Happy to help all the time. And and yes, you're gonna be just as Vi said, just come see the slide, copy it, paste it, fix the region, and just try it. See what countries you can get out of your list and what you can do with the information. Yes. And what you can do with the information is what we're gonna talk about right now. So the first thing is gonna be automation. Campaigns is gonna be quite a similar thing. But in general, in the automations, we have some interesting possibilities. We can have one workflow is the same as at the beginning. We can have one store or we have multiple stores. It works exactly the same way. Well, in a metaphor, yes. One workflow with many splits or a single workflow for every single language. Yes, it depends of how you organize yourself, how you want to have the data, how you read your reports, and what data is important to you. Yes, so you can decide to do it in either way. You can use conditional splits. You have already tagged the contacts in the previous step. You have already given them a country in the previous step with the form or with the segment. So you're going to use these conditional splits. You can use welcome series with different tone and content per region. Ideally, all the journey of the customer should already be a little bit personalized. So that's why I'm starting with forms before, because we already want to know from the beginning, as soon as they fill the French form, they should receive the French welcome automation. Yes. So from the welcome email, everything should already be completely localized. Use fallback path for unknowns. This one is usually by default English. You're gonna see an example. Right now it may sound a little bit confusing, but all the customers that do not really have any associated contact property or information that can give you any clue or of where they are from, you can just feel confident to send them your default information in English, and you're gonna see how it looks in a real automation. Yes. And match the tone and offer to local culture. Maybe you have different offers from different places. Maybe you can offer free shipping for some place and not for another. So yes, we are able then, once we have split it in every single lane a different country, region, language, we're able to choose what are we going to offer each of them. And also, yes, as I mentioned at the beginning, you can always duplicate just a single workflow that you think is perfect, and then just change the rules according to the tag, segment, region, whatever you're using to separate your contacts. Yes, it's just a matter of how you manage things. It really makes no difference. Then conditional splits, here's how it looks like. And basically, you have up there the split settings. You get a little bit of the conditions of which contacts you want entering the automation. So all the contacts that are from France, from Belgium, and from Switzerland will enter the automation. And because you want them to receive the communication in French, more probably, yes. So then you're gonna split them like that. If they belong to the segment Sweden, I'm gonna send them the communications in Swedish. If they belong to if not, they skip. They go to the next step, and they keep falling as a little Yeah, a staircase to the right side until they reach the last step. That's gonna be your fallback. That's where you're gonna put English. English is gonna be the last, or well, your default language. If your main language and your main audience is gonna come from Spain, then maybe Spanish is gonna be your last option. Yes, but it's basically gonna look like this, like a little staircase to the right side, and the last step is gonna have all the ones that have no single relation to any of the segments or property that you set up in the splits are gonna fall into your default communications. Then the fallback path. Here, a further and more clear example of how it looks like. Yes, so the last segment that we have here is Greece. All the people that belong to Greece, 19 customers are going through the Greek communications. The ones that have no other information related, I'm going to our English ones. We don't have to set up any rule. We just assume is the ones that are going to the no for every single segment. Yes, nothing else to do. We just let the last communication to be in English. Now, how would it work with duplicates? Again, just repeating the same as in forms, we would want to have a good naming structure. In this case, I always suggest to the brands I work with to also have a numeric symbol in front of the name. Why? Because you also want to know not only the country or region that you're sending to, but you also want to know in which stage are they. So the welcome flow can have number one, then the next, the first cross sell can have a number two and three and four, and then you can see things in order and not everything is going to be around. And then, of course, just to make your life easier, if you don't do it, nothing's going to change. But of course, you're going to spend much more time trying to understand what you did. And and yes, this is pretty much how it would look like. It's going to be a single automation. Now, instead of focusing on the splits, you're going to focus on the trigger. You're going to select that only the segment, the contacts that are in the segment of Spain are going to enter this automation. Hence, all of my communications here are going to be in Spanish. Yes, and we don't have to do anything else. What you can do as a secondary rule, and in every single workflow, this is not only for this use case, but for any other use case where you may think that contacts may come in and out of a segment for X reason, yes, because maybe you have more than a single rule for that segment. You can add a conditional split further along the line after some delay, in case you think some customers will exit that segment in some period of time and then verify that they're still there. If they are not, we don't send them anything, and only the ones that are still in the segment are going to continue the path, yes. So just keep in mind, keep an eye on this and remember this because it will help you in many other situations, not only for localization.
I'm just gonna jump in and also give everyone a chance to maybe add any questions they might have into the Q&A box. But if you just go back one step to the split slide, just for context, can you let everyone know how many languages does the business have? Because it might look really overwhelming, but they do have many languages there. So on majority of people that I'm seeing in the chat only
Sure.
have two languages.
Sure. This is a groundbreaking case for me too. You know, this brand has really now I'm very close to them and I really appreciate them a lot. I'm pretty sure they do too. But is a lot of languages. They are working with I think up to 9 languages at the time. And really, if you think about it, having around 9 forms, 9 automations, in this case, 9 splits, and they don't have simple automations. They have quite complex, quite long automations. So it's a really complicated case. So in this case, if they manage to do it, having such a complicated setup, what's stopping you from trying it? Yes. So yes, good that you stopped there, by because it's really important to know. This looks already looks a little bit complex, even though it's quite a simple situation. Yes. If I could show you just more complex automation, how they look, it's extremely long, a little bit more hard to read, but in general works perfectly. Yes. But good that you brought that to attention because in many of your cases, it might not be that you're going to send in 10, 20 different languages. I don't think is the case. But just to highlight that this is because this brand has a deep consideration of their customer base and they want to be as detail specific and on target as possible. Yes, is their choice. Not really. It's not like the market is forcing them to do it. It's their choice. They want to be like that, and I think it's something that we could replicate. It really brings you closer to your customers. It really brings you uh, gives a little bit more of a warm feeling to your brand, more close feeling from all the people that is purchasing your products too. Hope I answer your
Absolutely.
question.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted everyone to have that context because when once
Yes.
Matias showed me all the automations for me, I was like, okay, that looks just crazy in my head. So just everyone, just so you know, guys, this is many, many languages. And then if you have two languages, it will look much easier, much simpler. And again, you can always open up those slides, see if you can replicate it in your flows. And if you're having any issues, again, just contact the customer support and they'll guide you through the setup as well. And
Exactly.
and what I
Yeah.
loved as well about like the second slide after this one about the numbers in the workflows, that is something like I love organized stuff because then I can do the creative part because I know everything's taken care of. So again, once you said numbering, I thought about it's really good way for you to know your customer journey as well. Because sometimes my experience when auditing other accounts as well, or in the past when I knew last, was, you kind of think, oh, maybe I should have this, and then you create automations to create different stories for your customers. So you imagine that they're going through certain flows, and then you end up having a lot of automations that are not generating any sales. You just think, or you had a thought at some point that it might be useful. So when you're very methodical about, okay, I'll add the number, this is the welcome flow, this is the first cross sell, and then you have those numbers just as the first indication, that is very good when you're doing the audits on your own accounts. So that's when I saw it. I was like, yes, definitely borrowing that.
Yes, and it's good to to talk a little bit more about it because it's not really only limited to that, the fact that you're gonna just know where your customer is, but it gives you a structure. It may be that all customers are not gonna follow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It might be that one goes to 1, 3, 5. So it depends how you set up things. But if from the beginning you have a plan of how you expect your customers to receive communications. In their case, they are dreaming very high this brand and they want to have every single customer receiving the communications at the exact time when an event is coming, when the region is having a holiday, as we spoke before, they should receive that communication. Yeah. So of course, trying to automate things as much as possible and trying to do it in an orderly way, because later on, as Bai said, what is going to be hard, maybe if you will have that data and you will have it there, but there's no way to analyze it neither. You don't know when they did something. You'll have to create an extra segment. You'll have to spend more time that you could have avoided from the beginning. Yes. So good note by is amazing that you catch on these little things because they are really important for all of the use cases, not only this. Let's go now to the conditional block. I like this one a lot. It's a specific, for very specific cases. Let's say, like I put here the idea of your free shipping for a local region. Let's say you sell in the US and the UK and Australia, all English-speaking countries. You don't really need to do much localization when it comes to separating languages. But maybe your warehouse is in the UK and you are only going to offer free shipping for the UK region. Everybody else is not going to receive it. So if you have a country determined over there, if a country is attached to the contact as a property, you can select that only the people from country UK will see this block in your email. So it will be the same email for everybody, but the UK people will see another block that the others are not seeing. Yes. So of course, l- limited to the contact properties at the moment. I hope in the near future we can expand that usage and have also segments and tags and so on. But right now it's limited to contact properties. You can use it for country, you can use it for names or gender or whatever. Yes. So these kind of properties that are by default set, you can be using here. And I think it's a very interesting case. It gives you a lot of ideas for other use cases. If you have some crazy idea in mind and just want to implement it, don't hesitate to try it and check with customer support, of course, if you're not doing something too crazy. But yes, just keep in mind that this is an option, and hopefully along the way it will become a little bit more extensive even, and you have more things to do with it. So this is inside the email builder, just by the way, for the people that may be a little bit lost. It's just inside the email builder when you're sending a campaign, an automation, sorry. The conditions here, you can set blocks to appear for different properties of the contact. Yes, in this case, I used the example of Italy. Yes, so they're gonna receive only this block, the people that are have marked in some point in their history, in their lifetime that they are from the country Italy. Yes, we can also set custom properties manually with import export, but we're gonna leave that for another webinar. Yes, but just in case you want to expand your use, it's possible. It's just gonna take a little more learning. And now we're gonna move to campaigns. Here is where we also speak about some other AI tool that we have now. And that is the translation tool that we have. That is quite, I think most of you, if you are working close with Omnisend, you probably already saw it and already tried it and already, I don't know, used also the other AI tools. And yes, you can just use the translate button on any text block. You can just select your language, and then of course everything is done automatically. You can change the tone. You can choose a different kind of length if you want to extend it or make it a little bit shorter, or simplify your language. It will correct also your copy in case there's some typo or some mistake. Edit the AI output to also match the tone of your brand. You can choose some prompt that you can give by default that will always bring back to the same kind of communication. And also the bonus is also available in the AI subject line tools. Yes, so you can also do it when you're sending the campaign already and translate all the subject lines, translate the pre-header, and yes, how does it look? It looks like this. I think most of you have already seen it if you're creating emails inside of Omnisend. So you have some text written there by default, or you have written already in your templates, you have text there, and you just select what you want to do with it. There's not really much science, is as much as you probably already got used to work with most of the AI tools that are available nowadays. So it works pretty much the same way, and I think it could save you a lot of time instead of going elsewhere to translate and bringing back that information and copying and everything. It's already formatted the way it was before. It's already uh, in Omnisend. Yes, no need to go outside to do what you already can do here. That's the first thing.
I'm just
And
gonna
then, of
jump in
course,
regarding
yeah,
the translations. Just another pro tip, because I know that some people, probably a lot of people, if you're like really overthinking things, will it translate things correctly? Should you hire someone to check it and do other things? I remember when I was working with localization teams and we were expanding over Europe with one of the projects. And the reality is, we spent a lot of time looking for uh, native speakers, specialists. It was a very niche topic as well. So it's not just about translating it, making sure we were so concerned getting it across the right way. And it's all good, but done is better than perfect. So my encouragement here is, even if there is a small typo or if there's a funny word in the translation, it's all fine. Just send it. Do not overthink it. Do not spend, extra time just going over it. Like, attention to detail is great, but my encouragement is, especially if you don't speak the language, just go for it. Don't stress too much over it. And most people will understand what you're saying. And another thing is, like, everyone's just scanning your emails. As much as we want them to read every single word in our message, people are just scanning through emails. So this is how you can speed things up instead of looking for localization people or like hiring native speakers, which I recommend doing later on. But if you're just starting off, that's just my experience where it's done is better than perfect.
yes, good note on that by. And also just by the way, I'm not tricking you here by showing you a translation to Spanish so they don't understand. Yes, it works. It's all good. But yes, it's just the language I picked there in the example. Of course, I understand that I speak Spanish. I hope somebody in the audience also can prove it and just say I speak Spanish too and I approve it. But yes, our AI tools are there to help you. And as Bai said, if they allow you not to overthink, I know that peace of mind is the best treasure you can have right now, and just do things in a more relaxed way, automated way, and just keep it relaxed, simple, fast, quick, and also just get things done in time. Use the AI tools, experiment with them. If they don't work as you want them to work, also give feedback. We will take into consideration and see what else we can do to help you. So don't stop at the limitations, but try to also push us to give you better things too. Feedback is always the good thing from this end, and we try to work on it all the time. Then thank you, Vi, for that. Let's move then to, well, of course, all the other tips that we gave on automations and everything else, bring it back to every other part of the presentation. It's not limited to that. One thing relates to the other one. It's not a single place. And you're going to see now even deeper insights of what you can do inside of a campaign too. I'm going to show you based on some Q&A questions that we had from previously. But first, we're going to move on three quick wins to apply today. So what are you gonna take from this meeting? What is your takeaway? What is it gonna be the thing that you're gonna do tomorrow? Hopefully today, and what else you can start testing the sooner the better. Yes. First thing I would recommend you to start already with localizing your forms. Yes, if you do have different languages, if you do know that customers from different regions are receiving your communications, and also mostly if you're using Shopify Markets, that I think is already a determinant that you are offering the possibility to change stores, start using different language forms for every single market that you manage, and start tagging customers accordingly, and start making use of that information. Yes, if you are already not in this step and you need to trace back to a whole full list of a lot of context and try to get that information, don't worry, you have the segment tool that we saw before. Plus, I'm going to show you a couple of tips at the end of the presentation. But first thing to start with is the first step of your contact, the first time they are going to get in touch with your email marketing in general, which is the subscription. If you're able to also set this up in other forms that you're using or in other sources or in general elsewhere that you are gathering context from, if you're able to get information from which country or which language the customer is coming from, try to apply it too, so to make your life simpler here and to always be on target when it comes to communicating with your customers. Second thing, split your welcome flow by language. I think we're not going to tell you to split every single workflow in one day. It's probably a complicated task to do, but if we can start with the welcome flow and we can already give that first touch to our customers, it's really a big detail. Yes, because maybe after the welcome flow, it's going to be some time until we send them another email, so we have time to consider. Maybe the next email is going to be a campaign, and we have full control on who and what we're going to send it to. So start with the welcome flow. Start on this first step. Give your customers a welcome in the language they want to be received, and yes, start from there. Don't go too deep at the beginning, and just take it step by step. And the third one, try the Omnisend AI translation. Yes, so if you already have some segments, or if you want to test that prompt, and you go to your list, you have never done a localized segment in your life up until now, and then you realize that you really have different contacts from different regions, and you do think that it may make a difference to send them a different language. Try it. Why not? Yes. So you have those segments, you have the AI translation tool. Send them your next campaign in a different language and see how they respond to it. Maybe you can do it in an A/B test form. Maybe your B version could be directed to a smaller portion of your audience in case you're feeling too conservative about it, but still test it, try it out, and make use of the tools. And now we move to the QA. I don't know, if you are gonna jump in here right now, or perfect.
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick. We had three very common questions that were repetitive and people were signing up for this webinar. So we kind of piled them together and we prepped the answers for those. So Matias, you can go to the next slide. And the question was, what are the fastest changes I can make today to start personalizing emails by language? So that was a common thing. I think you addressed majority of things, but if you could just remind everyone, because I think it's very easy to get overwhelmed. And as you said, just don't feel rushed to change everything today, because if things are working now, it's fine. Just take that methodical approach and start with the question with the flows that bring in the most money and that the most people see. But Matias, I'll let you answer this question.
Perfect. So yes, I'll trace back to the previous slides in a way. And first of all, yes, if you are not in the step of getting them from the first touch, from the form, and if you are not there yet and you already have your full list, I would recommend you to also engage with your customers currently. So maybe you have a full list of customers that may want to receive language versions of your emails and you don't know yet. And if you're close to them, if you know how to communicate with them, if they are engaged with your emails, why not ask them? You might be doing them a favor. So yes, I wanted to touch on a couple things that will really help you, not only for this use case, but really in every other use case too, is the preference management option. So at any point in your customer's life stage, you can ask them to update their preferences. By default, this is going to be included in every single email they receive next to the unsubscribe link. but chances are customers are not going to really update their preferences, yes? So you can ask them proactively and tell them, hey, we don't know what language do you speak or what language you prefer to be receiving our communications in. Maybe they are already purchasing from you for a long time, and that's a limitation for them not to purchase something else. Who knows? So you can just ask them and go back to the essentials in your next campaign or in some of your automations. You can include a section of that campaign or automation to ask your customers to update their preferences and give them a reason to do so. Yes. So we want to start sending, different language versions. Why don't you update us with your latest information? And here you can also take the advantage to gather some other data. You have a bunch of options inside of the preference center to expand your knowledge about your customers. You can select their country, prefer language. You can now get their first name and last name, get their birthday because we can also set up an automation for their birthdays and be more close to them in a specific day. So all the information I think is relevant that you can work with. Try to take it from there. Of course, don't overwhelm the customers. Don't give them too much to pick for because then may not just update at all. But in general, give them the option. Be proactive. Try to get your current list to also select the preferred language so you know that you can have that information and then you can choose what to do with it. And it does send a limit to the preference center as you see in the right top corner. By the way, just the screenshots are just to show you where to find the preference management and how to set it up, but you can also do it through a custom landing page. Yeah, so you have this example, you can just set up a landing page and design it however you want. And in here, you can ask for the exact same things. You can ask for the preferred language as a custom property or already for any other property that we have just to update it and submit the form and update the information of the contact accordingly. So that's one thing that I would do with the list in case you don't have any information from them. But if not, we just trace back to what we spoke in the last couple slides. Yes, in the last three, we're just gonna go back here, tag your forms by language, split your welcome flow, and try the AI translation for your next campaign. Those are the three first things that I would suggest you to do from day one, and not to overwhelm you, and to also see how this works for you and for you to start getting comfortable with the tools and with the segments and with the forms and everything. Yes. So those are the three things I would suggest, plus what I spoke right now about the preference management. Extra think about the preference management, then you can include it in your emails as you can see in these two examples. Yes, by default, you will see it in the edit preferences at the bottom of your emails every single time. They will access it through there, but you can also create a custom button in the middle of the email saying, whatever, I put this example here. We can wait to hear from you. Just take a moment to update your preferences so we can create a shopping experience that is right for you. Yes, you can be much more loyal to your communication style and your language, but just as a default example, I picked this. And you can either select to link it to the preference links, which drop your contacts to the previous page that we saw in the previous slide, yes? Or you can just paste here the URL of the landing page that you have created. Then you have much more control of the design, how it looks like. Does it already synchronizes a bit with the style of my website, with my page. So yes, in general, just dropping there also a little feature update that now you can use your custom font in forms. Yeah, so some more things that you can do there and try to make use of all these tools. Then the next question.
Oh, Matias, I'm gonna jump in, just
Go
looking
ahead.
at the time. And we have one question from our audience as well. I just put it
Yes,
in the chat for you, so you can open it at the bottom of your screen.
I'm
Because it's
going
very
there.
specific. So it's easier if you would read it. But don't worry, everyone, the Q&A questions, they were just kind of repeating what Matias has already spoken about. So you're not actually like missing out on any special or different questions or different material that you might get. And also, you will receive the recording in a couple of days, so you can go through everything in your own time. Matias, did you get the
Perfect.
question?
Yeah, I'm reading right now. So the question
Mm-hmm.
says this: would the personalization tag contact? Well, here we have the pull uh, from the raw. Yes, work correctly in both languages that use the vocative case Lithuanian Polish. I'm not so sure about this. I will let you know because really for these kind of specific cases, we wouldn't really be able to tell how it's going to address them. Yes. And I'm pretty sure this is something that you can help and test yourself for sure. You can create that form and just start testing it yourself and see how it works. If not, it's something that we can work on too. But I really have not had these language versions yet in my control since I'm not usually handling the accounts from these regions. As you can understand, I don't speak the language. But yes, it's a very interesting question, and I think for sure, if you test it a bit and if you're managing to chat a little bit with support and see what's possible about it, we can either it's already something we do, or it's something we could address too. So nothing really I can tell you at the moment, and not a case I have touched before, but for sure some very interesting question from the audience. Thank you for that.
Awesome.
Then
Thank you so much. And again, if anything, you can just contact our customer support team, and then they'll have all the time and all the expertise to help you with that. And I
yes.
think looking at the time, we have one question about VPN. So I think we can address that because it's quite an important thing, and more people are using VPNs. So I think it's two slides down from here.
Yes, very brief on that, Dan. Just let me jump here. Well, this one we already spoke. We can go jump through it. I just repeated the slide, how to localize per properties, like with a conditional block. But there was this question: if someone uses a VPN or travels, will Omnisend still send them the right version? This one I would recommend you to be very cautious with. As I said at the beginning of the presentation, when you're using the last location that is given by Omnisend is their IP, yes? So if they are using VPN and they are in the middle of China somewhere, they are going to appear as Chinese contacts if that's the property you're using in the segment, yes? So I wouldn't rely fully on this one. I would just use it as a fallback option whenever you are creating a full segment that is using phone number, URL, is using email address, is using build page, and then you just want to capture the other contacts that may have not entered that segment by using the last viewed or last detected IP, yes? So that one is the one I would recommend you to be more cautious with, more conservative with. Use it for other kind of uses because it really won't work that way. For your segmentation, I would rather use properties and things that are solid. Tags, segments, custom properties, and anything that is solid and is also manually inputted by the customer or by the form that they fill, rather than automated by a detection of an IP that is not always reliable. But still, don't get rid of it neither, because it's really a property that could help you address those escaping contacts. We How many people may be using VPN might be the lower percentage of the population that are visiting your store. Yeah, so you might still have confidence to use them in certain segments, but of course don't use only those. You can use it just as an extra, as an addition, as a extra rule for your segment, but don't rely only on those. That's my recommendation on that matter.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Matias. That was very informative, and I'm sure everyone found at least something new to consider. Again, you will receive the recording in a couple of days. We will include the slides. If you need any help, any advice, or maybe you're just feeling a little bit lost or overwhelmed, you can contact our customer support team. They're there 24/7, so they'll be able to help you out. And yeah, Matias, thank you so much. Again, that was so methodical, and I'm sure people will be going through it and implementing it. At least I encourage everyone. There is so much, and it's tried and tested with a business that has, like what you said, 9 languages. So I'm sure if you have 2 languages, it's all doable, and we're here for you. So again, Matias, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bai, and thank everybody who attended today. I hope that you really got some value from this and that you start using it. I think that's the most important thing. That, as I said, and I don't get tired of repeating it, is just try things, because if you don't try, you're not gonna know what you are missing. And this localization, I think, is particularly focused on missed opportunities. So you may be missing things that you don't know even right now were possible. So just try it once, try it twice, see if it works, and if it works, scale it. That's I think the way that you should approach most of the things that comes to marketing and when you're dealing with audiences that you don't really know personally. So yes, thank you, Vi, and thank everybody today.
Oh, that was such a good advice. Again, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we will see you soon. Bye.